Hello girls, how are you? Today I want to talk to you about how I overcame my limiting beliefs around money, how I'm still overcoming them, and with that I want to start with your family. A lot of the beliefs you hold around money, a lot of the beliefs I used to hold around money were linked to how my family educated me around money, and not only how they educated me, but how money was dealt in our family. The way you grow up and the way money is used around you, whether your family thinks money is something that is very easy to have or to get, or your family thinks that money is something very hard to get. Maybe your family has a belief that money is something you need for food and for maybe buying a house, but it's not useful for pleasure. You cannot use money for pleasure. You cannot use money to get pretty things. You cannot use money for your own happiness. You need money for the basics, but more than that, you don't need it. And today I really want to tackle the subject not only of limiting beliefs, but of the scarcity mindset. There's a difference between being broke and having a broke mindset. The broke mindset, to me, is the worst, because you can be rich with a broke mindset, you can be poor with a broke mindset, you can be average with a broke mindset. I was born with a completely broke mindset around money. I had such a belief that money was nowhere, that money was so hard to get, and that nothing was possible if I didn't have a certain amount of money. I'm going to tell you a story about my life. At some point I was looking for an apartment, and the apartment market in where I live is very, very competitive. It's very hard to get one. And I remember I was looking for one and I had very specific criteria. I was like, my apartment needs to cost less than $1,000. It needs to be with a certain number of rooms. It needs to be like this. It needs to have a balcony. It needs to be on the 3rd floor, blah, blah. In my mind, I couldn't go above the 1,000 threshold. I was like, if my apartment costs me more than $1,000 a month, I mean, I cannot even like apply for that apartment, you know. It was like my criteria, and I thought that couldn't budge. Meanwhile, finding an apartment that's so cheap with my criteria was basically impossible. It was not impossible like because I knew people who had it, but it was very hard. There was maybe like 3 apartments in the whole city that had those criteria and that were not available, of course. And at some point, I found my apartment and it was above the price I was supposed to pay. I didn't even apply. I was like, I don't need to apply. I won't apply. I don't have the money. I don't have the budget for that. And one thing God told me at that point is that, and I learned it through another woman on YouTube, which is why I love YouTube so much, because you get to have mindset shifts through other people online, and yet it changes your whole life where you live. And so that woman online was saying $10,000 is a drop in the ocean for God. And at that time I was looking for my apartment, and my apartment was not like $10,000 more. It was not like that expensive. It was just a bit more expensive, but above 1K. And I remember I thought, well, I mean, it's definitely above my budget, but we can try it out. And I tried, I applied, and I got the apartment, and I was able to pay rent since then. I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying that every month has been easy. It's been quite complicated, as a matter of fact. But there was that reality suddenly that shifted within me, which was God is the center. God holds all the money in the universe. God holds all the wealth in the universe. And when you understand that when you're connected to God, you're connected as well to the fact that He holds the whole world. He holds all the money in the world. $10,000 is literally a drop in the ocean for God. He could give it like that. Your bank account could be full by now if God decides to. Like, it's nothing for God. It's nothing. And yet we worry about how will we eat tomorrow? How will we dress tomorrow? Yet God says in the Bible, even the birds, He feeds them. Even the flowers have better clothes than we will ever have. God is the source of abundance. When you understand deeply within that God can give you all of what you need and He will give you everything you need, you will be able, I believe, to switch your scarce mindset, your poverty mindset, to an abundant mindset. The reason why I really want you to change your mindset around money is because so many things you don't do because you think you will not have money. So many things I haven't done because I thought I wouldn't have the funds. So many things I didn't allow myself to do because I was like, I won't have the money. I didn't allow myself to travel. I didn't allow myself to travel outside of Europe. I didn't allow myself to travel in Asia, other countries, other continents because I thought that I wouldn't have enough money. The moment I realized that it was not really a question of money, like the money was always here, but mostly a question of my mindset, I started to travel the world. I started to have a more abundant lifestyle. More abundant opportunities came to me, wealthier opportunities came to me, more luxury came to me. I want you to have the most abundant life ever. And I want you to have the most abundant life ever, but that's aligned with you. That's aligned for you, the one that makes sense for you. I don't You don't need to buy the Gucci bag if it's not for you. But I want you to have your most abundant life. And if you're interested in alignment, in getting closer to yourself, reconnecting, recentering yourself, becoming and reclaiming the woman you were always supposed to be, join my waiting list for my masterclass. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.